And I don't think it's ever something that will go away. You know, free is a very difficult thing to pass down. However, as we provide better and better services for consumers, we'll get them away from free. And really that is the key, is to provide a better customer user experience. And we'll only get better at that. So that's a little interesting statistic for you. This is another statistic as to how people are still finding out about music. Now, I don't know how many of you listen to the radio, but it still is the #1 place where people go to find out about new music. Music TV, as we know, is changing. The whole recommendation engine is becoming more prevalent. Telephones, fan sites, media advertising, etc., etc. So we talked about the Radar Festival, but one thing that I want to reiterate is I think this will happen for filmmakers. And I think it's already happening here at the Talent Campus. I think there'll be 5 winners. We'll be able to see those videos that those 5 winners make. Perhaps those videos will be for sale somewhere. And suddenly you'll have a new generation of filmmakers. So I encourage you to go look at the Radar Festival. It's another report I found today. Behaviors of counterfeiting. It's hard to read, but it really just, what all this shows us is that we're worried. The industries are worried. They're worried about counterfeiting. They're worried about what will happen to my movie if you can download it and you can send it around to 1,000 of your friends. How fair is that? What happens to the people who write it? What happens to the people who invest in it? What happens to all the money that gets made? What happens to all the money that gets invested? So people are really looking for a few things. People who invest in things, they want their money back and they want to make profit. And that, indeed, is the crux of the matter. People who invest in music want to at least make a profit on it because there's a lot of energy spent in it. If you look at it from the point of view of the consumer and the artist, you can't go wrong. Because the artist or the filmmaker has the power to make something that is compelling. The consumer has the power to do with it what they want. They can buy it, they can purchase it, they can rent it, or they can get it for free. And that's what everybody's concerned about. We need to look at other countries that have skipped certain digital formats. For instance, Japan is a very interesting territory right now because Japan has, quite rightly so, skipped the digital download. And it's a complex issue because in Japan you can rent any CD. So you can go to a rental shop in Japan, you can rent any CD for $1 or $2, take it home, rip it, take it back the next day. It's illegal, but nobody polices it. Therefore, to go to a digital download and buy something has not quite been a success in Japan. However, over-the-air downloads onto your cell phone have been a huge runaway success in Japan. Places like China and Taiwan are experiencing the same thing. So, there's so much news. This is just yesterday's news. I thought I would just share with you. I mean, video sharing site Bolt.com settles with Universal. The Dixie Chicks grab Grammy accolades, ratings details, MySpace pilots filtering solution. SanDisk CEO urges abandonment of proprietary formats. AT&T incorporates music choice into IPTV initiative. Electronic Arts, MySpace, Virgin, Gibson scout new bands. EMI dust barely settles. Digital Music Group strikes YouTube revenue share. Omniphone delivers iPhone competitor, grabs major support. And this is just a little tiny little news clip I get every day from Digital News. Another article I read yesterday, interoperability or death. I mean, this comes from a company that has completely succeeded because of the MP3 format, and that's eMusic. eMusic has in their arsenal independent music, nothing from the major labels, but they have millions of tracks from independent artists, which are all in the MP3 format, which of course all fit into your iPod or any MP3 player. And what does this tell us? This tells us that this whole issue of DRM is going to be a very hot button issue in the coming few months. And you will see a lot of news on it. I'm going to finish now because I really would like to encourage questions, because I have a feeling that we're running a little late and people would like a break, and if there's anything I can do while I'm here to answer any of your questions about this revolution we're in, I'd be happy to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think we should start with the questions right now, and
nobody cares about music.
I mean, maybe you need some time. I, of course, have some questions. One thing that came to my mind while you were describing the parallels between the movie industry and or the other way around, the music industry and the movie industry, and I can see all these parallels as well. In that respect, Warren was right. We converge somehow. But the content is pretty different. We could see with the music industry, they try to force onto the consumer these CDs. We see with the TV industry, they try to force onto the consumers the schedule, and that's why TV shows are downloaded. But the movies are different. These are huge stories that have to be told and have to be written, produced, and that cannot be cut into clips, so to speak.
Right.
So how do you react to that? I mean, is that the big difference, so that the film industry will have a different fate?
I think so. I think every industry that is facing this, whether it be the music industry, the film industry, the book industry, the picture industry, the photographs, will face a different set of problems and solutions. So I agree with Warren. I think the downloading movies off the internet it's happening. Millions of dollars worth of movies were downloaded from iTunes and other sources, but we're some years away because I wouldn't say it's about the technology, but it's about software. Mm-hmm. And so if you look at companies like Juiced or BitTorrent, they are, and possibly we might be in that same era right now where Napster had a solution, but there was no cooperation. And we may be in that same position. Nobody really knows. Perhaps these companies who create little chunks of material, perhaps the film industry may be able to work out some form of collaboration with them. But I do think it's a very different set of parallels for the film industry as it is for the music industry. It's quite different. It's different chunks of bytes of ones and zeros.
I think there was a question. Oh, yes? Okay. First the lady, and then...
Hi. The web industry is talking about delamination.
Talking about what?
Delamination.
Yeah.
About the atomization of a big context going into atoms and that being distributed and disseminated. Isn't that a little bit what happened to the music industry? Is that not something that could be happening in the movie industry? That what's going to an exchange is not the movie itself, but atoms of the movie?
Do you mean that... Do you understand the question? As far as I just want to make sure I understand. But atoms of the movie, you mean bits and pieces of it,
yeah.
So which allow people to download it. Yeah. Well, I think that's the unfortunate problem with the BitTorrent user. I mean, it's already happening. It's just happening illegally, according to the film industry. But I think with the music industry, look, billions of tracks are downloaded for free every single day or week. And it happens every day. I mean, we're all guilty of it. I find a track, I send it to somebody else. But I think in the music industry, there was a desire to legitimize and create a financial model that did work. And I think what happened is people started thinking about not only the user, but the artist. So there was a guilt-fear factor put into the minds of the consumer that surely you should purchase this track so the artist can survive and pay their rent and support their family. That is changing too, because there is a movement afoot that it's not about the track, or it's not about the album that one produces, that the album might even be a lost leader. So an artist puts out an album, gives away the album for free, but has a model where their fans pay $3 a month, $10 a month, whatever it is, and they receive everything the artist creates. And that movement is actually growing quite well. There's a lot